Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, this is the most significant project to come before this Commission since the San Onofre nuclear power plant in 1974. It is most significant because of the large area of environmentally sensitive habitat, wetlands, and other public resources it will destroy. The fact it is unmitigatable under the law, that it so clearly fails to meet so many Coastal Act policies, and that it raises profound questions about our environmental and social future in coastal California, and the glaring negative precedent it would set by, among other things, destroying a heavily used state park whose principal infrastructure improvements were installed as Commission-required mitigations for lost public beach access in front of the nuclear power plant. Since passage of the California Coastal Act in 1976, I know of no other coastal development project so demonstrably inconsistent with the law that has come this far in the regulatory review process.
Again, if we're going to proceed with the hearing today, and we'll never get through all the speaker slips and everything else, you people, please abide by that, or we're going to have to stop the hearing. I'm going to ask you for one of the last times now not to do that, please.
This toll road project is precisely the kind of project the Coastal Act was intended to prevent, along with new coastal nuclear power plants, new offshore oil and gas leases, coastal freeway projects abandoned long ago, and new commercial ports that also never came to be. This project is the embodiment of the central driver that motivated California voters to enact the Coastal Initiative that created the Coastal Commission in 1972. That prime driver was overwhelming public opposition to rampant industrialization and destruction of the coast by massive new development projects, actual and imminent at the time. This toll road project is not only inconsistent with the law, it also raises fundamental questions about what kind of environmental and social future we want for our coastal communities, our families, our children, and theirs. We, especially those privileged few of us entrusted with grave responsibilities for making momentous decisions today that affect generations to come, must ask these questions in the context of larger perspective of where we as a society are heading. This is a context that includes a burgeoning population, the exponential loss of environmentally sensitive and critical natural habitat, the loss of affordable and accessible public recreation areas and opportunities, massive disruptions of global climate with devastating consequences, the inevitable congestion of new or expanded freeways everywhere, whose projected carrying capacities were exceeded even before they were completed. A context where demand for mobility must and can ultimately only be met by mass public transit infrastructure. And in a context wherein the decisions we make today are guided by individual conscience and our own inner moral and ethical compass, and not by the power of politics and monetary profit for others. We as a staff in public service, and you as commissioners, are keenly aware of our sworn duty to objectively and fairly apply the requirements of law to the facts before us. While bound by law, we are also individual beings whose judgment is obviously informed by social, environmental, and moral imperatives of our time. It is not hyperbole to suggest that this project raises a paramount question in this pivotal moment of human history that each of us must ask and answer in the conduct of our own lives. Are we, as a people, wise enough and willing to muster the courage of our convictions to stand firm for what is right and actively embrace a future that does not repeat the failed practices of the past? Can we focus our foresight on an environmental future clearly in the best collective long-term interest of human and natural communities? A future that will require sacrifice and will be costly to achieve, but one whose worth as proud legacy is beyond measure? These are questions we must ask. Mr. Chairman, that completes the staff report and our comment.
Okay, and what we're